Just wanted to request those who are in the cast, just unmute yourself. Those who are not in the cast, if it's okay, mute yourself.
It's a mute.
Thank you.
A mute.
Those who are not in the cast, just mute yourself. Thank you.
And shall I take off this presentation?
Yes, please, Prabhu. So I think some of the characters have dressed up, so it would be nice to see them.
Good.
Okay. Okay, so today's drama is on Krishna's flute. Take it away.
During a beautiful autumn season day, when the waters of lakes and rivers were crystal clear, the air was fragrant of lotus flowers, and the breeze was pleasant, with birds, trees, and plants, all looking very happy. There, beautiful Krishna and Balaram, along with cowherd boys, chilled out. While chilling out, Krishna played his flute. When gopis heard the transcendental sound of the flute played by Krishna, their minds became disturbed. The flute sound vibrations made them think of and imagine Krishna. They would drift away in thoughts of his pastimes. One day, a gopi said to her friends,
Krishna is an expert in playing the flute. Not only us, the gopi, but all living creatures who hear the flute are captivated by the sound vibrations. When Govinda plays his flute, the peacocks immediately become mad and start dancing. Animals, trees, plants, either on Govardhan Hill or in the valley, see the dancing of the peacocks. They all stand still and listen to the transcendental sound of the flute with great attention. Also see the deers approaching Krishna. The moment they hear the flute, they go to Krishna. My dear friends, the cows and calves are charmed too. Just see the cows' long ears spread to catch the nectar of the flute. The calves have stopped sucking milk from their mothers, and they remain struck with devotion. And they see the birds sitting on the branches and twigs. It seems as if they've forgotten everything and are engaged only in hearing Krishna's flute. Even the fierce waves of river Yamuna flows nicely after hearing the transcendental vibration of his flute. And you know, the days when it's really scorching from the heat of autumn sunshine, the clouds cover Krishna, Balaram, and their friends so they can play their flutes in the sweetest of conditions.
Another gopi said,
The transcendental sound of flute of Krishna extends to all corners of the universe. Even the wives of residents of heavens became attracted after hearing the transcendental sound of his flute. On hearing the sound of Krishna's flute, they immediately became unsettled. Their hair and tight belts loosen up. Every day in the world, when Krishna and Balaram traveled in the forests of Vidram, playing their flutes and making an imitate friends with all kinds of moving and non-moving living creatures. And it's not just animals, plants, flowers, us gopis and residents of heaven that give mesmerized by his sounds. When Krishna pleases, then all inhabitants get mesmerized by his flute playing too. Krishna performs concerts in front of the reverberations. To top all of it off, the sound is so attractive that it attracts the all-attractive Krishna himself.
in awe of Krishna's pastimes with his flute, another gopi asked her fellow friends,
I cannot begin to understand the flute. The flute, which is nothing but a bamboo rod, is always close and enjoys the touch of Krishna. What kind of good deeds must the flute have done to be enjoying the nectar of Krishna's lips? I am so jealous of this flute. The flute wakes up with Krishna, goes to sleep with Krishna, and is with Krishna all the time. How is that the Lord treasures this object, even though it is not very attractive?
This is because the bamboo rod allowed Lord Krishna to do whatever he wanted with the rod. The rod had completely surrendered to him.
How did the bamboo rod surrender to him, Lord Krishna?
This is how the conversation of the creation of the bamboo flute became. Krishna and the bamboo plant unfolded. One day, Krishna rushed into the garden, very alarmed. He went to the bamboo plant and said to it,
I have something to ask you, but it is very difficult.
Tell me if I can, I will give it to you.
I need your life. I need to cut you.
Let me think for a while. You don't have any other choice? You don't have any other ways?
No, no other way.
Okay.
I'll cut you now. Here comes the homemaking. This may pain you, and if you want, it's okay to cry.
Yeah.
There. Now you have turned into a beautiful flute, and from this day on in Brindavan, you will be with me always.
Aww.
So there you have it, completely surrendered to Krishna. You may come across hardships. However, in the end, Krishna will bring the best in you. The end.
Well done, guys. That's really good.
Thank you.
Brilliant. Well done.
Thank you.
Let's give him a round of applause. Very good effort. Everybody's on mute. Nobody can hear. Very
Thank
good.
you.
Very good. Well done, Priti. Well done, actors. Well done, Ritesh. Well organized. It was really nice. Did you enjoy it, children? Did you enjoy doing the drama?
Yeah.
Yes, it was fun.
Yeah, you were really good.
It was really fun.
And you reminded me of the story. So I was really happy. So well done. Let's just look at this week. Now, we're going to look at, here it is. So we're following the Krishna book, and we are on chapters 11 onwards. So we might not cover all of these topics, although we've already talked about the Aghasur demon, so we won't have to talk about him again. So we might get there. Let's go. So I want to place everybody on.
13 story.
Yeah. Okay. So Krishna, when he was little, he was so cute, unbelievably cute. And look at him here. He is holding the slipper of Nand Maharaj on his head. He would sometimes bring Nand Maharaj's slipper in a clumsy way to his father. And his father would become so happy because Krishna would look so cute. Sometimes his mother would ask him to bring something heavy, and he would slowly bring that with a lot of difficulty. And this is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is stronger than the strongest, is heavier than the heaviest, is bigger than the biggest. But when he plays this role as baby Krishna, he becomes just like a baby, but no ordinary baby. He's so cute. and he's giving a lot of happiness to his mother and his father. So you can just imagine how wonderful it must have been. So the lesson that we can learn from here is that even though Krishna, he looks like a little baby here, small child, but he's always actually the supreme personality of Godhead. He's always God. Even though he may look like a little baby, he's actually God. So we shouldn't make a mistake of thinking that Krishna is just a little baby. He's a baby as well, but actually his position is Supreme Lord. He controls everything. And he wanted to show by the way he was behaving that he can be controlled by the love of his devotees. So Nand Maharaj, his father, would love him so much, he would do these things like this, carrying his slipper on his head. Amazing. This is God himself. Okay. So, one time, oh, this is a really amazing story, amazing pastime. A fruit vendor, somebody who sells fruit, came to Brindavan, where Krishna lived. And she was shouting out, anybody want to buy apples? Anybody want to buy pears? And at that time, Krishna was a little baby. He was about 2 years old, just over 2 years old. And he came out of the house with a little bit of rice in his hands. But as he was walking, all of the rice was falling away from his hand onto the ground. So by the time he got to the fruit seller, he didn't have anything in his hands. But the fruit seller was looking at Krishna and thinking, wow, isn't he the most gorgeous thing I've ever seen in my life? And she just started giving, with her love, fruit to Krishna. And she didn't want anything back for it. She didn't want any payment. She was looking at Krishna and she was thinking, I'm just going to give because he's so beautiful. And she was very poor. She had no money at all. She couldn't afford to give it, but she gave it because she fell in love with this little beautiful blue boy. So what happened? Krishna, he took the fruits, you can see here, he's holding with his 2 little hands, he's trying to hold all the different fruits she's giving him. And so he, God, accepted the fruit. And when he went back into his home and the fruit seller, she got up, she found that the basket was so heavy. And she looked in the basket. And what did she see? What do you think she saw? What is all this? Who'd like to answer?
I would like to answer, please.
Okay.
Gold.
What did she see?
Juice.
Jews, that's right. Who said that?
Me.
Who's me?
Anush.
Anush. Very good, Anush. Well done. She found the basket was full of jewels and gold. Somebody said gold. There's rings, all sorts of beautiful, very expensive things. And she was amazed. This is how God reciprocates, how he behaves with his devotees. If we give something to him, he will reward us with a lot more, 1,000,000 times more. She was giving all of her fruit for nothing, but she didn't lose because she was giving it to God. In fact, she was rewarded with jewels. Okay? So that's something important to understand. It's not that we give something to God to get jewels. No. We give something like the fruit seller was giving out of her love. And we don't want anything back. We just want to give. So that's the mood. But when we give to God, we never lose. Is that okay? Did you understand that lesson?
Yes.
Good. What was the lesson?
If you give
The lesson was that if one gives Krishna something out of love, Krishna will reward them thousands and thousands of times better things that they have.
Wow, is that Uddhav?
Yeah,
Wow, well done, Uddhav. I'm very impressed. Very good.
thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. So, what happened one day? Krishna and Balaram, they were playing outside with their friends, and it was quite late. They'd been playing all day, and they were really having great fun. And Mother Yashoda, she called Krishna, please come, take your lunch. Krishna, Balaram, take your lunch. Come home and eat. But Krishna was so busy with his friends that he didn't want to come home. And Mother Yashoda was shouting, you must be hungry. You've been playing all morning. Please come and take your lunch. And Krishna always listened to his mother Yashoda because there was so much love between them. So he was a little bit pulled. He was thinking, shall I go home? But his friends said, you go and you can't come back. If you go home and take lunch, you can't come in and play here with us. And Krishna was thinking, oh no, I want to play with my friends. I don't want to go home. So they were actually making fun of him. Of course, if he had come back, they would have let him play. But they love Krishna. They don't want him to go away from them even for a minute. So they kept saying, you go and you don't come back. Anyway, Mother Yashoda was getting a little bit upset with Krishna. So she was thinking, what shall I do? Krishna must be so hungry. What shall I do? What shall I do? So she thought, right. She made up a demon called Ho Below, Ho Below. So she said to Krishna, a demon called Ho Below is coming. Be careful. He looks terrible. He's a monster. He's going to eat you. And Krishna looked around. He was quite scared. He thought, uh-oh. And he said to Balaram, Balaram, Mother's saying a demon's coming. What shall we do? Balaram said, let's go home. So they ran to Mother Yashoda. And you can see here, here's Krishna, here's Mother Yashoda, and he's running into her arms. So in this way, Mother Yashoda got Krishna back into the home by fooling him. He's the Supreme Lord. Nobody can fool him. But his mother's love is so strong. She is able to convince him that there was a demon when there wasn't one. Now, when they were in the house, Krishna asked Balaram, do you think really there was a demon called How Below? And Balaram said, I don't know, but these pakoras are very tasty. This sabji is very tasty. I don't care. And Krishna said, yeah, you're right. So they kept eating. So in this way, Mother Yashoda and Nand Maharaj would have a lot of fun with Krishna and Balaram. So, thank you. Next story. This is them together with Mother Yashoda. You can see he's so close with his mother. He loves her so much. So in this, while these demons were coming to kill Krishna, the people who lived in that land, they were thinking, it's so unsafe to live in Gokul. So many demons have come. So they made a decision that they were all going to move to a place called Brindavan, which was not too far away. So they packed all their things and they made nice lunch and they packed it all into carts and they started traveling from their home in Gokul to their new place in Vrindavan. And you can see here, Mother Yashoda is feeding Krishna. And this is Mother Rohini. and she's feeding her son, Balaram. So the lesson from this is that sometimes when things are not going good, we sometimes have to move on, and we can do that if things are not going right. Sometimes we just have to do something else to make it right. So that's the lesson from that. Now, at this time, when Krishna was around about 3 years old, Krishna and Balaram, they were given some responsibility to look after the calves. You can see them here, the little baby calves. Because Krishna, he's born in a family of cowherd men. They're farmers. And naturally, Krishna, who is the Supreme Lord, loves cows very, very much. So they trained him how to look after cows. He doesn't need training. He actually can do anything. But Krishna likes to be trained as well. So they trained him how to look after cows. And then Krishna and Balaram, they used to take the calves into the pasturing grounds, into the very nice green luscious grass, and the calves used to eat the grass, and they used to play with the Krishna and Balaram. They used to really enjoy. So the lesson to learn from this is that when we are young, when we are little, it's nice if we can learn something from our parents, because they're always working so hard. We can help them a little bit by learning what they're doing and trying to help them sometimes. Just like Krishna and Balaram helped their parents by looking after the calves. Very nice lesson to learn, okay? This is, see the calves, they love Krishna so much, they lick his hands, they lick his feet. They're so close to him. And Krishna and Balaram, they like to hug the cows. This is a really nice picture. So one time, what happened when Krishna was 2 years and 2 months actually? A demon came. He came in disguised as a calf, as a baby cow. His name was Vatsasura. Can you say that? Vatsasura. That's it. Well done, well done. Vatsasura, he came disguised, and he was not very nice. He looked cute because he looked like a calf. And he thought he had fooled Krishna because he looked so cute. And Krishna didn't pay any attention to him. So he was thinking, yes, Krishna doesn't know that I have disguised myself as a calf. And his intention was very bad. He was going to bite Krishna and try to kill him. But Krishna, he saw the calf. He immediately recognized the calf. And he said to Balaram, hey, there's another demon here. So he grabbed this calf and actually he swung it around really fast, and he smashed it against a tree. Now, all of these demons used to come at a special time, just before lunch. So Krishna and Balaram and the friends used to play and play and play, and then they would get a little hungry. And at that time, the demon would come. And what they would do very cleverly, Krishna would use that demon, smash it against a tree, and from the tree, all the fruits would fall out. And they would, after killing the demon, they would enjoy the fruit. So this is really special. This is, the demons would come, but they wouldn't actually interfere with Krishna's pastimes. Krishna would still be playing with the friends, the demon would come, it'd be time for lunch anyway, and they would use the demon to get the fruit from the tree, and then they would have a fantastic lunch. So this is how they used to enjoy in Brindavan. This is how they used to enjoy. So the lesson from this Krishna again. He didn't use his weapon, the Sudarshan Chakra, to kill the demon, because he didn't want to disturb the demon. He didn't want to disturb the devotees. So he never used his chakra. He didn't use any weapons in Vrindavan. So there was another demon who came called Bakasura. And Bakasura was a huge bird. Huge. He was a stork. And he was so huge, so big, that actually he swallowed Krishna. Everybody was shocked. The Gopas, you're looking at them here, they're fainting. Even Balaram was thinking, what's going on? This bird swallowed Krishna. But Krishna, when he was inside the bird, he became very hot, so hot that Bakasura could no longer tolerate. He spat Krishna out, he vomited Krishna out, and Krishna came out completely fresh. He didn't look as if he had been swallowed by the bird. He looked completely fine. Then Krishna, the Bakasura tried to stab Krishna. And every time he would try to stab Krishna, Krishna would move out of the way, just at the last moment. And it was almost like they were dancing. Bakasura was trying to stab Krishna with his beaks, and Krishna was just stepping out of the way. It was like a graceful dance, actually. And then Krishna had enough of the demon, and he pulled the beak of the demon, pulled the beaks apart, and he split Bakasura into two. And in that way, he killed him. And everybody celebrated. They had such a fun celebration after Bakasura was killed. So the story, the lesson to learn from this one is Krishna is so attractive. He's so gorgeous. Even when he's killing a demon, it's like an art. It's like a dance. It's beautiful. It's artistic. There's nothing ugly about Krishna. Even when he is being attacked by the demons, the way he behaves, the way he destroys that demon is artistic, is graceful. So this is God. This is Krishna. He's always graceful. Okay, so now
I have a question.
Is it on mute?
So what happened? One time they were playing in the fields, in the forests, on the banks of the Yamuna. There's the Yamuna. Who's been to the Yamuna in Brindavan? Has anybody been to the Yamuna in Brindavan? I think Uddhav has been there. So the Yamuna is a river, and it's a very nice river, and it's blackish in color. And Krishna and Balaram and all his friends, he's got a lot of friends, huh? There's thousands of them, hundreds and hundreds of thousands actually. So they were playing on the banks of the Yamuna, and the Gopas, they were singing about Krishna's glories, and they would tell Nand and the elders, Krishna's father and the elders, how Krishna would always be saving them from the demons. And when they would see Krishna come home, they would always be thanking Hari, Lord Vishnu, for saving and protecting Krishna. So the people who lived in that land, they're called Brijbasis, they live in Vrindavan. They love Krishna so much, they don't think he's God. And even if he is God, it doesn't matter to them. As far as they're concerned, Krishna is theirs. Krishna belongs to them. See, God would belong to everybody, but the Brijbasis, they look upon Krishna as one of their own. So they love him so much that even when he shows them that he's God, they don't want to believe it, because their love is so intense, is greater than their attraction to Krishna as God. Their attraction to Krishna as one of their own is greater. So that's a lesson that we can learn, that these people who live in this land, they're called Brijbasis, they're very, very special. They have such intense love for Krishna. And they're always praying to Vishnu, please protect Krishna. But actually Krishna, he himself is God. He is Vishnu. But they would never believe that. Not that they didn't believe in God, they believed in God. But even when they saw Krishna do godly things, they would think, no, he's just our son, or our nephew, like that, or our friend, like that. Okay, so what happened? We've gone through this story of Aghasur, so I won't go through that. We've already talked about it. We did the drama last week about it. And I think you all remember who he is, right? Just as a quick reminder, who is Aghasur?
A big giant snake.
Good, very good. And what did the snake look like? Why did they all go into this? Yes, a cave. Well done.
8 miles.
Well done, well done. Very good, very good. So let's not go through that. But I want to tell you another pastime, very special pastime. Now, what happened? They were, after killing Aghasur, it was time for lunch again, right? Remember, demons come just before lunch. So after killing Aghasur.
Yes.
Thank you. They were enjoying a very nice lunch. Look at them. There's Krishna. There's Balaram. Balaram's looking at Krishna, and Krishna's being cheeky. And Krishna is surrounded by his friends. They're taking lunch. They're enjoying on the banks of the Yamuna. There's another picture. They're sitting. They're keeping Krishna in the center, in the middle. Everybody's looking at Krishna because they love him so much. They've got all their different packed lunches from home. And they're sharing, they're eating, they're looking at Krishna. They're just enjoying. And each, actually what would happen, Krishna, he would actually, each friend would think, Krishna is only looking at me. So this fellow here, for example, he would be thinking, hey, Krishna is looking at me. This fellow here in the corner, he would be thinking the same. Hey, Krishna is only looking at me. Krishna in that way would meet his coward friends as if that friend is the only one he's looking at. And each and every one of them would have the same feeling. This is the amazing thing about Krishna. So they would all be thinking, Krishna is just with me and enjoying with me. One time, what happened was, this is Madhu Mangal. Now, do you remember Madhu Mangal at all? Do you remember what he looks like?
Yes.
Go on then, tell me. What is he?
Like sweet.
Little bit.
He likes sweets. Yes, that's correct. Well done. He's a Brahmin boy, and he's big because he loves ladus. So what happened? One morning, he said to his mother, you better pack me a lunch because we're going to have a big lunch this afternoon. And his mother only had an old gulab jamun. And he was thinking, oh no, I shouldn't have eaten so much last night. I ate everything last night. Anyway, he only took this big gulab jamun with him. So then they all sat down for lunch. Madhu Mangal was there. And he was thinking, I can't share this old gulab jamun. And he was so shy about it. And Krishna said to him, hey, Madhu Mangal, what have you got for lunch? And Madhu Mangal was looking and thinking, I'm not going to tell him. I'm just going to put all of this gulab jamun in my mouth. That's what he did. He put the whole gulab jamun in his mouth. And it was a big gulab jamun, right? He couldn't chew. He couldn't even move his mouth. It was full of gulab jamun. At that time, Krishna came to him. And Madhu Mangal was trying to close his mouth. You can just imagine it, right? You've put a big piece of pizza in your mouth and you're trying to close it. So your mom doesn't see what you've got in chocolate. So he was looking quite ridiculous, actually. He's looking like this. And Krishna went to him and just squeezed his cheeks like this. And out of the cheek, out of his mouth came the syrup of the gulab jamun. And it went on Krishna's hand and it went everywhere. And Krishna was thinking, wow, this is delicious. And he started licking that syrup off his hand. Now, somebody was looking at this, right? Actually, before we go into that, the lesson to learn from that is Krishna is very loving and he wants to share our lives with him if we let him. So we can be this Madhu Mangal if we like. And we can let Krishna also squeeze our cheeks if we want to. Krishna is very, very loving. Right? So we can get to know him and he can become our very best friend. Anyway, what happened at this time? Somebody was watching. He's the creator of this universe. His name is Brahma. Can you say that?
Brahma.
Brahma. How many heads has he got? Can we count them?
He's got 4 heads.
4 heads. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 heads.
4 heads.
He's Brahma. And he is very powerful. He was told that this cowherd boy, Krishna, is the supreme personality of Godhead. And he wanted to see Krishna. And he was watching Krishna. He watched him kill the demons. And then he saw this pastime of Krishna licking the juice of the gulab jamun from his own hand. And that came from the mouth of Madhu Mangal. And he, for one moment, thought, this can't be God. I'm going to test him. So he kidnapped all of the cowherd boys, the friends of Krishna, as well as the calves, the calves, baby cows. He stole them all, right? He stole every one of them. Now, Krishna, in the meantime, actually, Krishna realized that the calves had run away. Before what Brahma kidnapped them, the cows had actually run away. They were near the Yamuna. So Krishna was looking for them. When Krishna came back to where the picnic was, he found nobody there. He knew what happened. He knew Brahma had taken them all. But he was thinking, I can't go home without any of my friends because their mothers will be so upset. And I can't go home without the calves because the cows will become so upset. So what he did, he expanded himself into all the cowherd boys. Every single boy, he expanded himself. And he also expanded himself as every single calf. So they looked exactly the same as his friend, as the cow, but actually they were Krishna himself. He expanded himself. So Brahma had kidnapped them only for one moment of Brahma's moment. But one of Brahma's moment is 1 year for us on earth. So for 1 full year, Krishna remained as the cowherd boys and the calves. 1 full year. So when they would go home, the boys, the mothers would really start hugging the boys much more than they would normally. The cows would look at the calves and run towards them. They would even leave their small baby calves away and run to these other calves who are actually Krishna. And Balaram would be looking and thinking, what's going on here? How come the mothers and the cows are so much attracted to their children, even much more than before? So he asked Krishna, hey, what's going on, Krishna? And then Krishna explained, Brahma had kidnapped the cowherd boys and the calves, and I've expanded myself. And that's why they love me even more than their own children. And the cows love their calves even more than normal because I have expanded myself as those calves. So the lesson to learn from this is because Krishna is the Supreme Lord, we have a natural affection to him more than anything else. At the moment, we've forgotten that because we're living in this body. We've forgotten who Krishna is. But when we remember him again, we will have great affection and love. Then Brahma, he looked back. He just turned his head for one moment. He looked back and he saw, hey, what happened? The calves, I thought I'd kidnapped them. The boys, I thought I'd kidnapped them. But they're still here. And then he realized Krishna must have expanded himself into all the calves and all the boys. And he became very, very sorry. And that was when Krishna was 3 years and 11 months. And Brahma became very sorry. And he immediately came and he started offering wonderful prayers to Krishna, saying how sorry he was for kidnapping the boys and the calves. And he asked Krishna for forgiveness. Please forgive me. I am so sorry that I made this terrible mistake of kidnapping your boys, your friends, and the calves. And Krishna is so kind, he forgave him. So the lesson to learn from this is, we may also make mistakes. And sometimes we're thinking, is there a God? And we may even want to test God because we don't believe he's the supreme. We don't believe Krishna is the supreme. So we can learn actually from Brahma's mistake and don't make that mistake. That Krishna is the supreme Lord. Even he might appear like a baby, but actually he's the supreme. So I wanted to finish there and I wanted to ask you if you have any questions. You've listened so nicely. Are there any questions from what I've told you today?
I have a question.
Yes, speak louder, okay?
My question is that why did demons even try to kill Krishna?
That's a good question. Why do demons even try to kill Krishna? Because they don't know Krishna's power. Just like Brahma, he was watching Krishna and he was thinking, this is an ordinary boy. He's just an ordinary boy. He saw Krishna killing the demons, but he didn't believe that this is the Supreme Lord. Because Krishna just behaves like a simple cowherd boy because he loves to play with his friends. Mm-hmm. So in the same way, the demons, they don't realize the power of Krishna. And that's why they come and they try to harm him.
See how Krishna is kind.
And Krishna is very kind. Why do you say that?
Actually, Krishna is very kind because he forgives everyone. He doesn't judge no one.
Very nice. And he's so kind. For example, I'll tell you how kind he is. Agasur, when he tried to kill Krishna, and Krishna defeated him and killed him, Agasur's soul came out of the body, right? Body of the snake, and Krishna actually promoted Aghasur to the spiritual world, because right at the end, Aghasur was thinking, when all of the cowherd boys were going in to his mouth, he was just thinking, how happy these cowherd boys look. How beautiful Krishna looks. Just that one thought, for one moment, was enough for Krishna to liberate the demon who tried to kill him. This is how kind Krishna is. Just one moment, the demon thought, how wonderful Krishna is. Even though he was trying to kill him, he had that one thought. And Krishna immediately took him to the spiritual world. So this is the beauty of Krishna. Very kind. Thank you, Prema, for sharing that. Anybody else has a question?
Yes, Prabhu, we would like gulab jamun.
We have virtual gulab jamuns available on the screen.
We finished.
Anybody? Any of the children would like to ask anything? Oh, yes. Mansi?
Yeah. What happened to the cowboy like his friends and the calves after Brahma?
Very good question. Thank you very much. Very good question. So they were actually asleep, right? For 1 year they slept. They slept. But when when Brahma came back to look, Krishna showed him actually that all of the cowherd boys and the calves, they're actually Krishna, they're actually me. So then Brahma looked back and he saw the boys and he released them and the calves back into Lord Krishna's custody. So Brahma gave them back. He kidnapped them and then he gave them back. And that was for 1 full year. Now what happened in that 1 full year? Actually the weddings took place. The little gopis were actually married to the gopas, but they were all married. They were all married to Krishna because Krishna had expanded himself into all the gopas. So that's quite interesting. And also what happened, for 1 year, nobody knew about Aghasur. Nobody. So when, after Brahma brought all the boys back again, and they went back to the village, they told everybody, Krishna killed Aghasur. But it actually had happened 1 year before. So for 1 year, nobody knew about Aghasur. So that's quite interesting. Okay. Anybody else? Any questions? That was a good question, by the way. Thank you for asking. Thank you for asking, because I hadn't explained that.
Why does Brahma have 4 heads?
Very good question. Who was that? Uddhav?
Yes.
Okay, Uddhav. Thank you for that question, Uddhav. Brahma has 4 heads because he's in charge of creating this world. Brahma is not the supreme Lord. Brahma is like you and me, but he's very powerful. Very, very, very powerful. But this world is very hard to create, very difficult. You can just imagine, right? All the planets are moving in such a nice way. They don't collide with each other. The sun rises at the same time every day. Not the same time, but rises every day, sets every day, just like the moon. So this world is very hard to create. And all the different living entities, the plants and the rocks and the sea creatures, the animals, the humans. So in order to be able to create, God has given Brahma, our Brahma, 4 heads to give him the intelligence to create in this world. But this is a very small universe that we belong to. There are other universes which are much bigger. And in those universes, the Brahmas in those universes have many more heads. In some universes, he has 100 heads, 1,000 heads. In the biggest universes, he has millions of heads because they're so big and you need so much intelligence to create. So that's why Brahma has 4 heads.
Control all of those heads.
I don't know. Maybe you can become Brahma one day and find out. But that's not the idea of life. The idea of life is to become close to Krishna again, so close that we go and live with him in the spiritual world. Thank you for your questions. They're really very intelligent questions, I have to say. Thank you very, very much. So if there's no more questions, is there a question?
Yes, sir. I would like to ask, in this website, I read about that there are 4 yugas, and when the 4th yuga finishes, the Lord will destroy this entire universe and start again. And then that Brahma just there's a Brahma for the there's a Brahma in each time of new start of new yuga, the 4th new 4th. So I would like to know if it's possible to find out what what Brahma are we in now?
Okay, interesting that you have read this. This is a very deep and complex subject. How old are you?
11.
Okay. Very briefly, there's actually one Brahma. He lives for 311 trillion 40 billion of our years. That's his 100 years. That one Brahma, in one day of Brahma, there are 14 manvantaras. 14 manvantaras. And each manvantara, there are 71 mahayugs. A mahayug is what you just said, the 4 yugas. Satya Yuga, Treta Yuga, Dwapara Yuga, Kali Yuga. Now, after every Kali Yuga, there isn't always a only at the end of the day of Brahma, there's a partial destruction. And at the end of life of Brahma, there's a complete devastation. And one life of Brahma, 100 years, which ours is 311 trillion 40 billion years, is equal to one breath of Vishnu. This is an extraordinarily difficult area of philosophy, which actually we have studied recently, and that's why I can tell you what I just told you. But it is a very complex area. But also, it's a very interesting area. And if you are very interested in this, I'll be very happy to share you my notes so that you can see how this universe works. And what you can do is you can maybe ask Ritesh uncle to send me your details, or you can privately send me a chat message, and I can share with you our seminar notes. Okay?
Okay, sir.
I'm very impressed, by the way, by that question of yours. There's not many 11-year-olds who would ask a question like that. So I'd like to congratulate you. Okay, anybody else? Yes, Brinda, you can also have the notes. Just send me your details. Huh? Okay, so we can, Ritesh, uncle, do you have a quiz for the children?
Yeah. Hare Krishna. Okay, so after that great drama and very nice pastime, let's see how many people were listening. Okay, so was everybody listening?
Yeah.
Everyone's awake?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. So what was the name of Mother Yashoda's made-up demon?
I love
How below?
How
How below? Yeah? Okay, maybe you'll remember it next time. Okay. Where did Krishna live before he moved to Vrindavan when he was 2 years and 2 months old?
Gokul.
Very nice. So what was the name of the demon that came in the form of a calf?
Agasura.
No,
Arishtasur.
we are making up new demon names today.
They're right. There is a demon called
It
Arichas.
starts with V. Vatsasur.
Yes, Vatsasura. Yes, yes. Okay, the next demon then. What was the name of the stork demon who came when Krishna was 2 years and 5 months old?
Vakasura.
Bakasura. Yeah, and Krishna split his beaks into 2 parts, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Then everybody remembers Madhumanga?
Yes.
Okay. So what was he eating when Krishna squeezed his cheeks?
Gulab Jamun.
Yes, very good. And then finally, who kidnapped the cowherd boys? Who kidnapped the cowherd boys?
Brahman.
Very good. Very good, children. All of you are listening very carefully. Back to you, Prabhu.
Well done. Well done. Excellent. So let's do a little bit of meditation like we did last time. And that was the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. Let me just dig it out.
Should we sing a little bit as well, Prabhu? Maybe nursing high.
Fantastic. Yes, I forgot about that. Are there any... oh, Uddhav. Are you there, Uddhav? Okay, let's try to sing this. This is a really wonderful prayer. Let's read the English. Ritesh, would you like to read English? Oh, no, sorry. One of the children. Who asked? Who was was it Brinda? No. Who was the one who asked?
Shruti. Shruti asked the question. Shruti, okay. Are you there? Shruti?
Or Mansi or Vedansh?
Vedansh, would you like to read this?
Sure.
Yes, you can read this if you want. Huh?
Really good dressing up, by the way.
Thank
Krishna.
you. I offer my obeisance to Lord Nrsimha Deva, who is always giving me bliss, to his devotees like Prahalada, Maharaja, and sizzling at the hearts of demons like Haranyakasipu.
That's it. Keep going.